begin our runner's workout, we're going to start with a nice warm-up. So let's open up the shoulders by doing some arm swings. So you're going to rotate those arms in their sockets, feeling that nice stretch in the shoulder. Nice big circles here with deep breaths. Go slow so you can really feel the stretch. Now for the leg swings. You can hold on to a wall for this, and you're just going to rotate that leg in the socket, in the hip socket, swinging it back and forth gently. Keep the leg mostly straight and keep the upper body nice and controlled. Try not to swing the upper body with the leg. Just feel the leg swinging back and forth in the hip socket. Again, deep breaths, go nice and slow. Nice good opener here. Okay, for this one we're going to do a down dog with a rotation. So you're going to start in your downward dog position, pushing those heels to the floor. Then you're going to step to the side of one hand and twist up with the opposite arm in a thoracic rotation or upper body rotation. So down dog stretch, step to the side, rotate up, open up that chest. This is a great opener for the hips as well as the upper body at the same time. I love this exercise. Alright, next we'll do banded pull-aparts. So grab your band, hold it lightly in front of the body with a little bit of resistance as you hold it in both hands, and then pull it across the chest as you squeeze the shoulder blades together in the back. Think about that, opening the chest and squeezing the shoulder blades at the same time. Exhale as you pull. You really feel this one in the chest and the back, and the shoulders, and maybe biceps. Last warm-up exercise is a dowel hip hinge. So I use part of a broomstick for my dowel or my stick. I'm going to make 3 points of contact, head, middle of the upper back, and my tailbone, and hold those 3 points of contact as I hinge at the hips, pushing the hips back to the wall behind me and rotating the upper body forward. My points of contact never leave that broomstick or that dowel so that I've got an aligned spine and I'm opening up the glutes in this exercise and getting ready for deadlifts too. Such an awesome exercise for posture. We're going to begin our real workout with some squats. So go ahead and put your arms in front or cross them in front of your chest. You're going to sit back as if there's a chair behind you, so you're pushing your butt back and squat down. Notice my knees don't go in front of my toes. I'm going to inhale down and then exhale as I press through the heels back up to my starting position. This is proper squat form. Now we're going to move this to the chair for a chair squat. So you're going to sit back actually into your chair and then press through the heels as you go back to standing. We do this one so you can think about that nice straight back as you sit back into your squat and sit into your chair. Just 5 of these, and then we're going to change it up a bit. So now we'll do it one leg at a time. So lifting one leg up, sit back on the other leg into the chair and press back up with both legs. Go nice and slow on the way down so you really feel that one leg working and that one glute working, and then press back up with both legs. Let's do 5 on each side. So now we're going to switch sides. You'll really start to feel which side is stronger with this exercise. Remember to try and keep the chest lifted and nice tall posture throughout this, and really go slow on the way down to feel that leg working. Alright, now we're going to repeat these 3 exercises all over again. So squats first, times 10. Remember, sit back into your chair, keep the chest lifted, go down and inhale, and exhale, come back up. The power is in the glutes, not the quads. Second set of chair squats. Remember, we're going to do 5 with both legs, and then 5 with the right leg and 5 with the left leg, or you can start with the other one. So you want to really think about going down nice and controlled, pressing up through those heels, and think about using the glute in both of the actions. For the one leg, really think about control and really using this exercise to work on that one leg's glute and leg strength as it sits back into that squat. Okay, time for circuit 2, glutes and hips. So grab a couple of medium dumbbells. We're going to start with our deadlift. So you're going to push the hips back and lower the weights down as you trace the thighs and keep the weights in line with the arms. And then you're going to bring it back up, pressing through the heels. Think about that movement during our dowel hip hinge, how my spine stayed aligned as I rotated the upper body down and pushed the hips back to the wall behind me. Inhale down, exhale up as you push back to starting. Nice straight spine here, don't let the shoulders curve. Now for one leg at a time with the deadlift. So let's start with the left leg first. Go ahead and bring the right leg up and go down nice and slow, bending the knee just slightly, but really hinging at the hips, and keep your balance. Balance is going to be a huge challenge in this one. You'll feel it through the feet, the ankles, the knees, the hips, but that's partly why we do it, because running is such a balance exercise as you use one leg at a time. So inhale down, exhale back up. We'll go 10 per side, nice and slow, and then switch legs. Remember to go nice and slow on this one and get your balance just right. Bring that foot up as you trace the thigh down. Now we'll put the weights down and we'll move into a stationary lunge. So bringing one foot forward and one foot back. I'm going to lunge straight down and up. Now notice that my back foot is back far enough that I'm just on the ball of my foot and I have a really wide stance in this. That way I can go all the way to the ground without making my front knee go over my toe. I keep my hips square and my back nice and straight, and I imagine a string pulling my head toward the ceiling. I'm going to inhale down and exhale as I squeeze back up using that glute of my back leg. Good, and then switch sides. Nice tall posture, head up nice and high. Nice wide stance, going slow, keeping my balance, and the hips square with the wall opposite me. Now we'll do some lateral lunges. So you're going to lunge out to the side. So I step to the side really wide from my other foot, and I squat down, sitting into that hip. You should really feel that glute loading on that leg that you're squatting into. And my other leg is out straight, so it's stretching with that inner thigh muscle, the adductor of my straight leg. So sitting into that glute, really using it, feeling my hip, feeling my glute, and feeling that stretch in my inner thigh. Go slow in this and really feel the hips working. Last exercise for this circuit is monster walks. So you're going to place a resistance band underneath both feet and make an X in the front to add more resistance. You're going to sit down into a semi-squat, and you're going to step sideways against that resistance. 4 steps one way and then 4 steps the other. The really important part of this exercise is keeping that semi-squat position where you're pushing the hips back, pushing the butt back in a little bit of a squat position. So you're really using those glute muscles. Trust me, you'll feel the burn on this one by the time you're done with all 12 reps per side. So 4 steps one way, 4 steps the other, 3 times over. All right, time to repeat this set one more time. So grab your medium dumbbells, start with that deadlift. Remember, keep the weights in line with the arms so they trace the thighs and trace the legs down, and keep the weights pretty close to the body. And I push the hips back as I lower the upper body down. Notice I'm not rounding my spine as I go down at all. I'm trying to keep it nice and straight and keep my neck nice and straight. All the movement is in the hips with this one. 10 of these. Now we'll do it one leg at a time. So go ahead and start with the left leg, bring the right leg up, and you're going to just bring that leg up and rotate, bringing the upper body forward and down as you push that hip back. Knee stays bent or soft, but I'm not locking my knee. I'm also not bending a ton in that knee. I'm really using the balance and stability of rooting this leg into the ground, the standing leg. Thinking about keeping it straight and keeping all the control in the body. Go nice and slow as much as you need to. Keep control with that movement. Don't wobble too much. If you need to catch your balance and start over, don't feel bad. Really feel the body working through the balance of the one-legged movement. All right, stationary lunges, bringing those legs wide, lunging straight up and down. Remember, there's a string attached to the top of your head in the ceiling, and it's making your movement straight up and down. Hips stay square, and I'm on the ball of my back foot. Inhale down, exhale, squeeze back up. You'll feel the endurance of the quads and glutes in this one. Now for our lateral lunges, so stepping to the side, lunging down. Remember I talk about loading that glute, so you're sitting back into the hip and feeling that glute muscle really turn on as you press backwards into the wall behind you. Stretching the other thigh muscle, nice and slow. If this one feels kind of harsh on the knee, instead of keeping the toe pointed forward of that squatting leg, you can point the toe to the corner of the room, so you have a little less jarring on that knee joint. Now for your last set of monster walks. So go ahead and put the band under your feet and cross it in the front. Remember, sit back in your semi-squat before you start to side step. 4 steps one way, 4 steps the other way, repeated 3 times. You'll really feel this in the hips, glutes, and sides of the legs. Let's get ready for circuit number 3, arms and back. So grab your medium to heavy weights. We'll start with a bent over row. My palms are facing each other and I'm going to pull those weights to the sides as I bring my elbows back and squeeze my shoulder blades together in the back. Notice how my arms stay close to my body and my neck is straight, and I'm bent over in this position to get a nice lift. Then we'll go right into our pullbacks. So my arms are straight, and I'm just pulling the weights behind the back as I squeeze the mid-upper back together, right around the bra line. Those are the lats. So I'm squeezing those together as I pull them straight back. And we'll end with our overhead press. So palms facing in a neutral grip, pressing from the shoulders, nice straight spine and tall posture. Exhale as you press up overhead from the shoulders. All right, we're going to repeat that whole circuit one more time. So starting with a bend over row, hinge at the hips forward, and bring those weights up close to the body. Elbows come up high, shoulder blades squeeze together in the back. Keep the shoulders down, don't hunch them up near the ears, but just squeeze the shoulder blades together in the back during this movement. Now the pullback, straight arms, pulling straight back. So again, I'm squeezing the shoulder blades together in the back, but with the middle of the back, not the upper back. So a little bit of a lower muscle here, but still really using that strong spine and strong arms on this. Still not hunching the shoulders up near the ears. And end with that overhead press. So up by the shoulders, pressing up from the shoulders. Nice strong spine, nice engaged core. It's important to keep your core engaged in this position to protect the spine. And exhale as you press overhead. All right, our last circuit is going to be our core. So we're going to start face down on the ground and do some back extensions. So my hands are behind my head and I'm going to lift the chest off the ground using my core. So nice strong core, nice strong back. My core is engaged, meaning my belly button is drawn into my spine slightly, and I exhale as I lift up. Then we go into our plank, so forearm plank for this. We're going to hold this for 20 to 30 seconds. Your whole body should be engaged here. You should feel your strong legs, your glutes. You should feel your core definitely engaged. My hips aren't hiked up too high. They're also not dipping to the ground. Nice straight spine. And I'm really holding it through the core. Now we'll tilt to one side. So we're going to start with our right side for a side plank. We'll hold that, and for this I just want to make sure my hips aren't dipping to the ground, but I'm holding a nice straight aligned body. Hold that for 20 seconds. Now we'll move on to our back for some back exercises. So we're going to start with dead bug, a nice good lower ab core exercise. So I'm going to lift my feet off the ground, so I start in a tabletop position, arms up and legs up, thighs parallel the ground. I'm going to lower my opposite leg and arm toward the ground as I keep my back pressed against the ground and my abs engaged. This is a really controlled movement. You should feel the core really working in this to keep the back pressed onto the ground and not curve up. Inhale down, exhale, pull back up. We'll do 5 per side, and then we'll end it with some heel taps. So the same movement but no arms in this one, really thinking about keeping that connection of the back to the ground and those lower abs drawn in and working hard. 5 per side for this. Nice control movement. And then some glute bridges. So heels on the ground. We're going to bring the hips up in line with the body and squeeze the glutes in the back as we do a glute bridge. So hips up, core engaged, glute squeeze at the top of that movement. Go nice and slow and make sure you pause at the top so you're really working the glutes. If this feels too easy, bring the heels a little closer to the butt before you start and you'll really feel the butt engage. Now we'll bring one leg up and do a single leg glute bridge. We'll do 10 per side. So again, just like the single leg deadlift and squat, you'll really feel the differences between your different sides, which one's stronger, which one's not. And you'll really feel the hips and glutes working as you work one side at a time. Super important for runners. Alright, let's begin this whole set again for the second time. So start with the back extensions, hands behind the head, lift that chin and chest off the ground, keeping the head in line with the spine, and really just using the back and core to lift it. Keep the core engaged in this, really important, and really lift with the back muscles and the core muscles. And then we're going to go into our forearm plank. So up on your forearms, bring the hips down until you feel the core really engage. My core is really strong in this, but I'm still breathing. I'm not holding my breath. And I'm going to hold this position for 20 to 30 seconds. And then let's move into our side plank on the other side, so the side we haven't done yet. We're going to hold this for 20 seconds. Remember, you don't want the hips dropping to the ground, so you're going to keep them high. You might have to move them a little to keep them up nice and high, and really use that oblique muscle to hold this position. Keep your hips square with the opposite wall, and make sure you breathe. Moving on to our back again for those dead bugs. So remember, keep the whole back flat against the ground. Arms and thighs go up. You're going to lower opposite arm and leg at the same time as you keep that core engaged. So really controlled movement. Low back stays in contact with the ground, and the core is working. Now we're doing this with just the legs, so tabletop position, no arms, just legs. Bringing one heel down and then the other for your heel taps, keeping the knee bent, low back on the ground, and the lower abs engaged. Inhale down, exhale up. Think about those lower abs being kind of sewn up tight, as if you've zipped up a tight pair of pants. and they're nice and strong. All right, glute bridge. So lifting the hips off the ground, pressing through the heels, squeezing the glutes at the top of the movement. You want a little pause there at the top so you're really squeezing those glutes and using those hips. So we'll do a set of 10 of these with both legs. Then we'll move into single legs at a time. So doing one side and then the other. Really feeling that glute work as I press through the heel. Now I'm going to switch sides. Other foot up to the ceiling. Press through the heels. Try to lift the hips together so they're nice and square throughout the movement. Really using the core and glutes on this one. All right, you rock this workout. Good job, runners.